The very fact that you had a crappy time in high school will give you the strength to overcome the challenges that you'll have in your 20s and your 30s. And the very fact that these douchebags in high school that you know and you despise, these Logan Pauls that you know, the very fact that these guys are having it so easy, that is the reason that they will fail the challenges of their 20s and 30s. So this video is for the younger members of my audience. You know, I look at the demographics and I have quite a large segment of kids who are basically high schoolers, right? Or late junior high, high school, right? And I figured that I'd do a video about what you kids, you crazy kids, are up to insofar as this whole Logan Paul situation. So we're gonna talk about that particular douchebag in this episode. Now, Logan Paul, I'd never even thought about the guy until that whole suicide video came up. Okay, and that's when he popped onto my radar, and I sort of like saw clips of that video, and having no knowledge of the kid at all. I mean, nothing, okay? I looked at those clips and him laughing at the dead body, and later him saying that, oh, he was laughing out of nervousness and that the nervous tension made him laugh. Bullshit. Bullshit, man. I've seen enough douchebags in my time, and I can spot a douchebag when I see one. Okay, the guy's a douchebag. He was laughing for real. He thought it was funny. He thought it was funny that some poor Japanese kid had committed suicide in that forest. Okay? The guy is a douchebag. Okay? And if you're wondering about it, I'm here to tell you. I'm a 50-year-old man. I have met countless douchebags and assholes, and more than a time or two, I've had to be a douchebag or an asshole, okay? And I'm here to tell you that that guy is a douchebag, is an asshole. Don't doubt it. Put that thought out of your head if you had any doubts. The guy is scum, okay? Okay. Now, this guy is a teen idol, okay? Now, what does a teen idol mean? Well, very simple. See, from time immemorial, or maybe not time immemorial, I guess it really started with the Beatles, but who knows, who gives a shit? What happens is that teenage girls, their attention flocks to somebody, okay? Flocks, it sounds like birds, but it's more like fucking locusts, okay? I mean, like their attention, their collective attention descends on some figure, okay? Back in the day, it was Beatlemania, right? That was the first instance of like mass hysteria. Or no, and before that there was Elvis Presley, and before that, Frank Sinatra. It goes on and on. It's always been happening. After Beatlemania, when I was growing up in the 70s, it was David Cassidy, Peter Frampton, and then in the 80s, Johnny Depp, Tiffany, Madonna. Then after that, in the 90s, I guess it was the kids from Bop, that song, the Hanson Brothers, I think they were called. Hanson Brothers, right. And Leo DiCaprio, right. Girls' attention, collective attention flocks to these teen idols. And they pump them up and then abandon them, see? And that's what's gonna happen with this Logan Paul kid, okay? I mean, Gene Simmons, you know, the lead singer from Kiss, he had a really interesting insight about that. He said that guys, when they're kids, when they're young, when they're in junior high, high school, and they fall in love with some band, right? They will always love that particular band. They will always love that particular idol, okay? They can be old men of 60 and they're still gonna be, you know, followers of that particular band and fans of that band, okay? And it's very true. I know guys, when I was a kid, in 78, 79, they were fans of Kiss, and I'm in touch with these guys, right? They still like Kiss 40 fucking years later. They still are Kiss fanatics, right? And you know, I can't say anything about that because, you know, I've been a Rush fan for 35, close to 40 years. So who am I to talk, right? Right. But girls, no, it's not the same with girls. Girls sort of, their attention flocks to one idol and then flocks to another, or like I said, locusts, descends on one, just eats it up, and then just flies away to the next teenage idol, leaving an empty husk, right? Because that's what they do. They go from one teen idol to the next one, and to the next one, and to the next one. Logan Paul is the teen idol du jour. the one that's going on right now. And I'll tell you, I mean, spoiler alert, here is what is going to happen to his career. He is going to continue to have all of this attention for a while. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, somebody else is going to pop up. And everybody's attention is going to go straight to this new idol. And his merchandising sales, I'm talking about Logan Paul's merchandising sales, his merchandising sales, his views on YouTube, all the rest of it, they are going to go right off the cliff. I'm talking, no girl is going to pay attention to him. No, they're going to forget him, and they're going to be embarrassed about it, because that's something else that's kind of weird. I do not understand why this is the case, but women tend to be very embarrassed by their teen idol worship. Decades later, they can laugh about the fact that they were, crazy about the Beatles or crazy about David Cassidy or whomever. But right after it happens, they sort of like have this collective amnesia and this collective vibe of like, we're not going to speak of him, he who must not be named. When this happens, this Logan Paul guy, everybody's going to forget him. Every girl is not even going to mention him. And what will happen to the poor kid? Well, he'll grow bald, first of all. You can already see it, right? He's got this weird haircut, right? It's to cover up his incipient baldness. And I think the kid's like 21 or 22. I'll bet you anything that by the time he's 30, 35, he'll be completely bald. I'm talking like, like Bruce Willis bald. Yeah, I mean, the guy is, you can tell. You can tell he's going in that direction, right? So he's gonna be bald. He is going to lose most of his money. Now, it'll be either drugs or more likely poor handling of his money, either mismanagement or outright embezzling. And this happens all the time, by the way. Guys who are very successful teen idols, who are extremely successful, they wind up always in the poorhouse. 10, 15, 20 years after the high watermark of their fame, they're all dead broke. They're all dead broke, and they usually get arrested for something trivial, like, some breaking and entering or some shit like that. They're all dead broke, and a lot of them have had their issues with drugs. A lot of them. A lot of these teen idols. Not all of them, okay? And here comes the dividing line, and this is why I'm saying that Logan Paul is going to be like this bald, overweight guy with a petty crime rap sheet kind of thing, and no money, and just kind of sad and pathetic, and trying to, scrape up some attention any way he can, right? I know this is going to happen to him for a simple reason. He doesn't have any talent. His only talent is to garner attention. But he doesn't have any talent. He can't act, he can't sing or play an instrument or write music or anything like that. He doesn't have any talent. You see, the teen idols that make it to adulthood, I'm thinking like guys like Johnny Depp, like Leonardo DiCaprio, like the Beatles, take your pick. The ones who were very famous and teen idols at one moment and yet endured after that, right? Those people all had talent. I mean, say whatever you want about Johnny Depp being, a drunken buffoon now, but the guy's got talent. He's enormously talented. And sure, when he was in 21 Jump Street, he was a teen idol, but then he went and did really interesting movies, like the John Waters picture, it slips my mind right now, Ed Wood, that was a fucking great picture. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? That was a fine picture, and it had DiCaprio in it, right? Another teen idol. DiCaprio, the first time I saw that picture, the What's Eating Gilbert Grape, I thought that they had actually cast a retarded child in the role. I hadn't realized that it was a put-on job, that DiCaprio is just perfectly normal, and he was acting. And that's talent, right? And that's why the guy's endured. He was a teen idol back in the day, and today he's got an Oscar under his belt and, a whole string of really hot girlfriends behind him. And I don't want to say under what, right? He did very well. He had his moment of being a teen idol, but then he persisted and endured and continued with his career because he had actual talent. Now, the guys who don't have talent, like guys like Macaulay Culkin, the two Corys, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, a whole bunch of other guys like that, they all crash and burn. And they don't amount to a hill of beans because they don't have talent. They don't have the talent to stick with it. So once they are no longer the focus of attention, once their being a teen idol fades, they've got nothing else going for them, and they sink into oblivion, where they would have been to begin with if they didn't have this incredible talent for garnering attention. But it was attention for just a short period of time. See, that's what's going to happen to Logan Paul. He's going to go bald, he's going to go fat, he's going to lose his money, and he's going to pile up a rap sheet on just trivial offenses, probably a few drug offenses here and there, and he's going to have a shitty, shitty life. He really is. So don't worry about Logan Paul, okay? Destiny, fate, karma. Destiny, fate, and karma are going to take care of him better than anybody could, okay? Okay, now, the reason I also want to talk about Logan Paul, I keep wanting to call him Paul Logan or Logan Paul, Kevin Paul. Is there a Kevin Paul? I think there is. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter, these pathetic people. The thing that probably is chapping your ass is the fact that, Logan Paul is this figure on the internet and, you know, all the rest of social media, all that crap. But you probably know in real life Logan Pauls. You probably know guys like that. Guys who are good athletes and perhaps physically a bit more mature than you are. Guys who are certainly more popular than you are and better looking than you are. And it probably really bothers you. Because you say to yourself, well, these guys are douchebags. And they are. These guys are douchebags. Why do all the girls love them? Why do they love douchebags instead of like a nice guy? I mean, what the fuck, right? And that's what you're probably thinking, right? Well, see, teenage girls your age, you know, high school girls, stuff like that, or very, very early college, right? They gravitate towards pretty boys, charismatic boys, see? And these pretty boys, these charismatic boys, none of them have a happy ending, okay? Because what happens, and I'm talking in 99% of the cases, they don't amount to much. They don't. Because they're popular and they have a great time in high school. But as they grow older, their looks and charm is just not enough to endure. They need more. Just like the teen idols in the Tiger Beat magazines, right? That don't have any talent and they sort of like fade into obscurity, right? Same goes with guys in high school or maybe college that are just very attractive and very charismatic. They don't amount to much. They don't amount to much. Of all guys like that I knew in high school and college, all those people growing up and all the rest of it, I know of only two who had successful lives. Two. And it's really interesting because before recording this video, I was thinking about these two guys. And how come these two guys had very successful lives, uniquely among all those pretty boy douchebags that I knew growing up, right? And the answer hit me because both of these guys suffered truly traumatic events in their lives relatively early. One of these guys suffered a horrible tragedy in his late teens, right around, I think it was his senior year. A terrible tragedy. I'm not going to go into the specifics because they would be easy to identify potentially, so I don't want to go into them. One of them, it happened, like I said, his senior year in high school. Something horrible happened to him. And that woke him up in a big way. I mean, but he had a couple of years that were really bad. And the other guy, something similar. In his 20s, something fucking horrible happened. And it really made him change, turn around. I mean, he became like a different guy, right? And so later on, with these scars on their souls, they continued on with their lives and they became really amazing guys, right? I mean, successful men. But see, had it not been for these traumatic events, had it not been for these trials by fire, they would not have amounted to much, as most of these pretty boy douchebags that I knew growing up turned out in the end. And I'm betting most of the guys who are older, who are watching this video, they're going to nod along because, yeah, they know those guys too. We all do, okay? Those guys, they got the girls in high school. They got invited to all the cool parties, and you're not getting the girls and you're not getting invited to all the cool parties. And I'm here to tell you, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because what's happening to them, it might really fucking bother you. It might really annoy you. It might really just like irk at you and just like, right? Karma, fate, destiny, they're going to be taken care of. Don't worry about it, okay? What you should be worried about is just, getting better at whoever you are, okay? Don't worry about them, because worrying about them is not going to help you, okay? Obsessing about these assholes, and yeah, they might bully you and push you around and be dicks towards you. Ignore them, because at the end of the day, you're going to have a more successful life. Because the very fact that you're getting pushed around and bullied, the very fact that you're having a shitty time in high school is going to build up the resistance, the resilience, the strength of character, so that later on, when you have real crises in your life, when you have real problems, real catastrophes in your life, you'll be like inoculated, okay? The shit that you're going through now in high school, crappy as it may be, and you're casting an envious eye at these douchebags who have it so easy, well, later on, the very fact that you had a crappy time in high school will give you the strength to overcome the challenges that you'll have in your 20s and your 30s. And the very fact that these douchebags in high school that you know and you despise, these Logan Pauls that you know, the very fact that these guys are having it so easy, that is the reason that they will fail the challenges of their 20s and 30s. Because they will not have built up the resistance, the antibodies, the strength of character to overcome the bigger challenges that all of us have in our 20s and our 30s and 40s and on. Because we have challenges all of our lives, okay? All of life is one challenge after the next. When things are easy for you, that's actually a bad thing, because when things are easy for you, when you're just walking down, cruising down easy street, and it just feels like it's made of glass, then you should be very worried. Because see, when the road gets rough, and it will, when the road gets rough, then you're not going to know what to do. You're going to fuck it up. You're going to crash. See, that's what's going to happen. That's what happens to these Logan Paul type kids. Okay, Logan Paul, the actual specimen, and the local Logan Pauls in your high school or college or wherever the fuck. Okay, they have it easy now. Later, it's going to be misery. You're having a miserable time now, perhaps. You're looking at these Logan Pauls with envy. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because the very fact that you're having misery now will give you the tools to overcome the challenges later.